I swear, all roads lead back to Buffalo somehow or another. Deep rabbit hole myself, deep dive into capital punishment, electric chair. Turns out, my little city here, our little hometown of Buffalo, New York, hugely responsible for the electric chair. And also the very first person to be put in it. Pretty crazy. I really never knew that. The first person to die in the electric chair was from Buffalo, and the guy who pretty much invented it was from Buffalo. Crazy. Oh my god. It was a dentist. A Buffalo dentist. What the hell is it? Alfred Selfrick? Some sadistic bastard who was experimenting with electricity for his dental patients. He came up with like a couple patents, one of which was like something for a cleft palate. It was actually pretty famous, world renowned because of that. This is like the 1885, 1890-ish, just before the 1900s, where they were still hanging people, beheading people was still big back then. And there was like a recent rash of botched hangings and botched beheadings. And historically, crowds get really freaking rowdy at executions, like out of control. It's this weird fact that they don't talk about too much. So they're looking for an alternative. The dentist, who's working on like a New York State congressman in downtown Buffalo, just got done reading a story about how a construction worker, got electrocuted and killed by a generator, which left not a mark on his body and killed him instantaneously, which got the dentist to thinking maybe this is the answer to our little problem of more humane capital punishment. And then this whole thing goes down with Edison and Westinghouse again. These two guys are ruthless, frigging ruthless, both of them. Edison's kind of lost out to Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse with their alternating current, the current that goes back and forth a million miles an hour instead of traveling one direction the whole way, which takes power stations and you lose all kinds of it. And so the only way they can really feed these electric chairs back then to have DC generators. Westinghouse was not going to sell those generators to kill people. And at the same time, Edison's trying to make Westinghouse's electricity look bad, look dangerous, to give himself an edge with his failing electrical type, his alternating current. No, direct current, DC. Alternating current, AC. But it's so ruthless. And Westinghouse is really big in Buffalo. For a while, there was like tons and tons of manufacturing here, and Westinghouse was one of the biggest ones. And the factory took up like a mile of real estate in the city. So this one dude, the first guy to get put in the chair from Buffalo, and here's this little picture right here. William Kemmler, born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1860. Both of his parents are immigrants from Germany. and massive alcoholics. I don't know when they moved to Buffalo. Dropped out of school at age 10, unable to read and write. He worked at the butcher shop after his father died from an infection after a drunken ball. He spoke both English and German. After his parents' death, he went into the peddling business. Earned enough money to buy a horse and cart. He was also becoming a heavy drinker himself. After a huge drinking binge, he ends up killing his girlfriend. Doesn't say about him coming to Buffalo. Just says he was well known in the saloons of the Buffalo neighborhood. He was peddling his produce and a vegetable peddler in the slums of Buffalo. Came in a rage with his girlfriend, elsewhere referred to as his common-law wife, Tilly Ziegler, accused her of stealing from him and planning to run away with his friend. When the argument reached a peak, he calmly went into the barn, grabbed a hatchet, returned to the house, and done the dirty deed. Smacked her one with a hatchet. Nice guy. And then calmly walked next door to his neighbors and told them, "Hey, I just murdered my girl." He actually wasn't supposed to be the first person. Another first person actually got their sentence commuted to life and got spared the death penalty, pushing this dude up to number one. And he was all dignified about it. Put on his best clothes and all this and that. Nice, polite last words, wishing everybody well. They're such assholes, too. All of them were testing this shit on animals. Edison was a prick. He was just he loved to kill animals. That dude, I swear. So he's buying stray dogs, paying neighborhood kids to bring them stray dogs to practice electrocuting them, seeing how much voltage it takes and all this and that. Bunch of bullshit there. The dentist was doing the exact same thing. Eventually, the governor puts together this committee, 3-man committee, to find a better method of execution and throws that dentist in there. He's one of them. The other one's like a human rights activist, and the other one's like a lawyer, real smart psychologist type. And they heavily document and research every method of execution known to man. It took forever, and they just documented every aspect of every gruesome possible way you could imagine, from being fed to animals to acids and burning and thrown off a cliff and you name it. It was all there. Peeling you alive, fucking everything. Boiling, burning, freezing, just all of it. And their conclusion, hanging is really the most humane way at this point in time. Beheading, probably a close second. And the dentist, it's like, what about this new electricity shit? It drops you like a stone, drop you like a son bitch. So the dentist gets to work being a dentist, builds a chair, right? He's going to be the guy that comes up with the idea of, let's make this thing a chair, because he's a dentist and everything he does, everybody's in a goddamn chair. Come up with a system of electrodes and how to do it, where to put them. They botched the first one. This dude, it took forever to kill him. Bursts into flames, fucking stinking. People are screaming and yelling and passing out, and just total spectacle. Hair on fire, ass on fire. burned a hole right through them, pretty much. They had to trick Westinghouse to get the generators too. That was another thing. They were such cutthroat. They were ruthless. These two businessmen with money are generally pretty ruthless people. They'll cut their own family's throat. They pretended to be somebody else to get these generators in order to kill people. And the only reason Edison did it was to make Westinghouse look bad. Edison was not at all for the death penalty. But he also knew it was a great way to make Westinghouse look like shit, how dangerous his alternating current is. So for the longest time, they give demonstrations, of course, with animals, zapping the fucking killing the shit out of animals left and right to show how dangerous this stuff is. Little Buffalo, not only did a Buffalo dentist invent the damn electric chair, the first person that sit in it and get killed in it was from Buffalo too. Pretty crazy. Auburn Correctional, that thing was built in like 1810 or something. That thing is super old. Auburn Correctional Facilities, where it all went down. They ended up taking the electric chair to that place. I don't know why. Back then there wasn't a whole lot of prisons in New York. Maybe only 2 or 3 maybe. The Auburn system was an actual prison system that you had to remain in complete silence 100% of the time. You could not make a fucking sound, or they would light you up, beat you, starve you. You'd be on work details and you could not make a sound. The Auburn system. That thing went on right to like the 70s, that bullshit. It was terrible. There was a lot of riots and hostage incidents because it was so bad. I'm trying to think what other interesting shit I dug into. New York carried out a lot of executions, a real lot. Tons of other states jumped on the bandwagon of the old electric chair too. Pennsylvania and Jersey and tons of other states. They're heralding this brand new method, you know. All throughout history, people have been killing each other. There's just about everything you could think of, and here comes electricity, something that's actually never been tried. And they're all singing the praises of how great it is, and then they totally botched the first one. There's a lot of crazy history in Buffalo, believe it or not, especially the French-American War and the British War of Independence and all that shit. Oh my God, Buffalo played a huge part of it because of the Great Lakes, Niagara Falls. It's crazy too that I actually have like Westinghouse stuff in my house right now, my dehumidifier and my power washer that I can't get started. It's brand new and I cannot get the thing to start. Well, yeah, they're both Westinghouse, which is same stuff, same guy. And business still rolling. Then again, a lot of Edison stuff is too. Light bulbs and a lot of the power companies in the Northeast are all called Edison Electric. Initially, they tried to get Edison on board with this whole proposal of a more humane way to kill people, and Edison didn't want no part of it. He didn't like the idea at all. But then when he found out it could make his competition look bad, he was all about it. He jumped right in there, helping out any way he could. I wouldn't be surprised if Westinghouse was headquartered in Niagara Falls back in the day. Headquartered in Pittsburgh. Founded in 1886 by George Westinghouse. Westinghouse Electric was the powerhouse in heavy industry, electrical production and distribution, electronics, home appliances, and a variety of other products, generators, steam turbines, blah, blah, blah. The Westinghouse Atom Smasher, major player in nuclear power. The Westinghouse Atom Smasher, a 5 million volt Van de Graaff electrostatic nuclear accelerator operated by Westinghouse Electric at the research labs in Forest Hills, Pennsylvania. It was instrumental in the development of practical applications in nuclear science. 5 million volts. Well, that will probably do the job too. Yeah, I'll go deep diving in this shit now. Which even this, the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project's got a connection too to this area where they dumped all the fucking waste, all the toxic nuclear waste, leftover byproducts from their experiments all over Tonawanda, New York. Which is why everybody from Tonawanda is kind of a little bit whacked. But this whole area's got the highest cancer rate, and that's the why, because shit like that My dogs are all fucking wound up today. Yeah, the Manhattan Project of World War II, the inventor of the atom bomb, dumped all their waste in Tonawanda, the Tonawanda Wheatfield borderline, one of the most populated areas in all of Buffalo. Heavily, just dense. People are packed in that area. I hate it. There's all throughway too. It's always like 20 degrees warmer there because the entire area is nothing but acres and acres of fucking 8-lane highways. Tonawanda. Yeah, just bury it. Put a park over it. Which is exactly what they do. Just down the road from Love Canal. It's only a few minutes away from Love Canal. So the whole area was just, they were dumping shit here for so long, from Niagara Falls, from New York City. I imagine at one point, nobody will ever develop here. Nobody will build here. We just dump this shit here. Nobody's ever going to build here. 30, 40 years later, here they are. Birth defects and fucking cancer and headaches. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. The toxic waste from the Manhattan Project was all brought out to Tonawanda and dumped out there. Lucky ass, lucky us. Hooker chemical, accidental chemical, they're all dumpers too. They're dumping nasty shit. I don't imagine it was any nastier than what the Manhattan Project was dumping, but you never know. Trying to make some cute little homemade gifts. There's going to be little door knockers that you can put on outside your door. People pull it, it knocks. This baby's dust. Buffalo had some of the biggest aeronautical manufacturers in the whole world here for the longest time too. Just until World War II ended, then they all kind of closed up or went elsewhere. Bell, Lockheed Martin, Bell Aerospace. My dad worked there. Used to work in a fuel room for the jetpack, that manned backpack that flew you around. And the fuel for it was like pure hydrogen peroxide. And it was so strong that they used to take eyedroppers of it and like squirt the ground and would like blow holes in the concrete. And he said they were all white from working on it. All their hair, all their skin, everything was white. Back then, nobody gave a fuck. Actually, it was the Cold War. During the Cold War, they were doing a lot of production there. Better black. Purple. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Purple nurple. Hate it. Whoa. That smells good. I'm so taken back by the Buffalo dentist gathering up stray animals to electrocute to test this shit out. It's like nobody said anything about that. Nobody complained or bitched or like, hey, where's my fluffy? Where's he throwing these fucking dead animals in the garbage when he's done with them? What the hell's he doing with all these corpses? And you know, they were getting bigger and bigger. They're progressively using larger and larger animals, right up to horses and elephants and whatever else they can get their hands on. Fucking animals. Fucking bastards, you know. This thing's just about at it. Wasn't sure how it was going to look purple Purple and purple. Good old New York, always killing something. If it ain't Peanut the fucking squirrel, it's gonna be somebody else is gonna die at the hands of New York State, the Empire State. I want to say they're the biggest employer in the entire world. New York State government is the largest employer in the entire fucking world. I may be wrong on that. Maybe it's just New York. Biggest employer in New York. I bet it's up there. Probably top 5 in the world, though. Top heavy motherfuckers. It's weird, New York's, this government's like in a different category. Public universities. The largest employer in New York. Bullshit. New York State. $9.4 million people. No. The state has, it is. The state has a labor force. Oh, wait. That's not what I'm looking for. No. New York State employees. Behind California, Texas, and Florida? How the fuck? So I have to reword it more specifically because they don't want you to know that shit. How many people does New York State employ? Whoops. New York State government numbers. How many government employees are there? The New York State government employs more than 109,000 full and part-time employees. In addition, New York State's municipal governments and school districts employ another 877,000 full-time workers. The number of employees in agencies under the government control is another 188,000 full-time equivalents. Interesting. States with the most government employees. I can't imagine anybody having more than that. No. New York's pretty dark. What the fuck? Was it like North Dakota or something? Florida's got 4. California, 800,000. Texas, 500,000. New York, 623,000. But that's bullshit. What's this big number over here? State, government, FTE, employment, state, local, world. But these numbers are bullshit. It's probably not including so much shit like teachers as its own category, but it's still a government job. Alaska, which is gigantic, has 28,000 employees. Delaware, Wyoming, Hawaii, Vermont, those are also low. Rhode Island, 20,000. Nebraska, 50. Maine, 20. New Jersey, 205,000. That's a lot. Kentucky is under 100. South Dakota, 19. New York, fucking cocksuckers. It's bigger than Texas, but smaller than California. I bet that's wrong. That's inaccurate.
I want to be a part of it. I know large-scale accidents are rare, but devastating events in the world of heavy industry, nuclear reactor meltdowns, mining collapses, oil explosions, and indeed factory fires can major do indeed occur. One industrial disaster, as you may not be familiar with, took place on a cargo ship with the
And the raccoon as well. Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue.
I'm sure you've all heard of Peanut the Squirrel already. The squirrel that changed an election. Harambe Part 2. Squirrel and Raccoon Boogaloo. And for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, Peanut the Squirrel and his friend the Raccoon. Peanut had a couple million followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook combined. People liked him. He was adorable. An account bringing positivity to social media. Okay? But unfortunately, Peanut here was put down after a raid by New York State DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation, who apparently weren't conservating the lives of squirrels on the day they raided Mark's home and picked up Peanut and his little raccoon friend. Not a lot of conservation when the first step is euthanization, DEC. So that's what's been going on in a quick 30-second blurb. And while everybody's talking about how horribly it affected the owner of Peanut, Mark, and how this was such a government overreach, nobody's explaining why it's a government overreach, or how the search warrant could have something as benign as Squirrel and the Raccoon on it. But before I give you the entire backstory, the warrant, and the aftermath, first, a word from this video sponsor. Phew! It's fading out. They are unaware of the habits of squirrels. They're to one another. And a day or two later, Peanut came hipping and hopping on back to squirrels off still to Mark, a suddenly handsome man with a chin as strong as steel and biceps that are just glistening. All right, sorry, I'm sorry, Mark, sorry. But Peanut was injured again, missing a chunk of his tail. Because, like I said, squirrels to one another. So Mark, being the big-hearted guy that he is, took Peanut in for good, domesticated him, and then started a couple online social media accounts to show his kooky friend Peanut the squirrel the fun times they would have in his apartment. Isn't that charming? Well, a couple million people thought so because, boom, after 7 years, that's right, Mark has had Peanut for 7 years. And his social media blew up. Almost 1 million followers on Instagram, over 1 million on TikTok. Facebook's up there too. Well, it's just one normal guy and his kooky squirrel buddy jumping around and eating waffles and Pop-Tarts and dressing up in funny costumes for Halloween. Adorable stuff that makes you go, aw, the world isn't a complete and toxic piece of shit. And after growing quite a good following, Mark and Peanut had a little bit of scratch, a little bit of money, and you know what they wanted to do with it? No, not blow it all on blow and hookers. They wanted to create an animal rescue in middle New York. Oh, isn't that nice? An animal rescue. Where today there is over 300 different animals that Mark is taking care of with his big heart and his even bigger muscle. I'm talking horses, goats, alpacas, chickens. If it's hurt and it's wounded and walking around funny, Mark is picking it up from the side of the road and rehabilitating it. So, in fact, Mark and Peanut became so popular that news agencies were knocking on the door, doing interviews with Mark and Peanut. Even international news organizations were stopping in and doing a feel-good story with Peanut. The squirrel not only has 2 million plus followers, it's on national and international news as an adorable squirrel that is warming the hearts of millions. But unfortunately, no news story for the pair would be quite as large as the day that Peanut died.
Outrage is growing tonight after New York State authorities euthanized the local squirrel's Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry.
Because early on the morning of October 30th, Mark's home in mid-state New York got raided by the DEC. They handed him a warrant. They separated him and his wife from one another, 2 different rooms, don't be talking, and they started searching that house for a squirrel named Peanut and Fred, the raccoon. A warrant for Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Let's break down that warrant, shall we? Now, I only have the first and last page of it, and warrants are a little, I don't want to say tricky. They're an interesting thing. We'll go over that in a little bit. First, let's read the warrant from the state of New York, County Court, County of Chemung. You can chemung my balls. The first page isn't anything too mind-boggling. It says, hey, this is who's requesting the warrant. This is who they work for. This is who they need to help them out. And also, here's the location that we would like to go in search of some of these things that we need. What is it that we need in this search warrant? The last page tells us. Reasonable cause to believe having been established that property of the kind and character described by CPL 69010, property that is unlawfully possessed, CPL 69010, again, property that constitutes evidence or attempt to demonstrate that an offense was committed in New York, can be found at Redacted, the home of Mark, Chemung County, including but not limited to unlawful possession of gray squirrel, black in color. Why gotta be a black squirrel, huh? Why gotta be black? Why gotta be black there, huh? A raccoon, any other unlawfully possessed wildlife. And below that, you are hereby authorized to enter the above premises and seize all items listed in application. To seize all other illegally possessed wildlife or parts or articles containing parts thereof. To enter and search the business between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. and to remain until the work is completed. Dated 10/29/2024. And the following day is the day that Peanut was collected as evidence. Now, you've read that right. Squirrels and raccoons are illegal to possess as pets in New York. Strange, I know. Now, laws like this are usually put in place because, well, raccoons carry rabies, sometimes so do squirrels, and other infectious diseases that could negatively affect the populace in an area. Oh, interesting. Now, some, like myself, might think that a rehabilitation center for animals might be some sort of, I don't know, might be excluded from some sort of list like this because, you know, they're rehabilitating animals. But hey, we'll hold off on that for now. But I'm sure you're saying, you know, this search warrant really didn't say anything. It said who was requesting it, where they wanted to go, and what were the things that they wanted to find. And you're right. You see, New York State search warrants come in two different pieces. There's the search warrant, which is very bland and basic, which you just read, and the application for a search warrant, also known as the search warrant affidavit. There are several organizations and people, including Mark, that have put forward a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request, in order to get the affidavit, because the affidavit, also known as the search warrant application, will have far much more information in it. It's going to have who the officers talked.
¿Ha tenido un accidente? Comuníquese con las oficinas legales de Brandon J. Broderick, con un equipo dedicado a accidentes disponible los 24
in order to gather the information on this offense of owning a squirrel and rehabilitating a raccoon, as well as the information that the investigation collected to prove, or at least give reasonable suspicion, probable cause, that a crime had occurred. And then that crime would elicit a search warrant to find the property that should be inside that home. So the affidavit is going to have who investigated, the information that they received, what they then uncovered regarding the illegal activity, and how they recovered that information. So if somebody's feeding them info confidentially, they're going to say, confidential informant told us that this happened. If they sat there and used their binoculars to spy on the squirrel in his home, they're going to say that they did surveillance. What I would like to see in the affidavit is, did they look at the social media? Because if they did, holy guys, 7 years worth of videos, I think the squirrel's okay. If they did look at the social media and then decided to bum rush the door and not be a little more tactful, not tactical, tactful, maybe things would have ended up a little different. Once again, it's a squirrel that's been tamed and a raccoon that's just there until he feels better. This isn't a drug that's filled with cocaine, high, crazy, murdering shooters from Venezuela, MS-519. It's a squirrel. And honestly, when you're rolling up to this house, do you not see the big sign that says Peanuts Sanctuary and not think, maybe this place might have some sort of legal standing, or maybe they're just not educated into legal standing. Perhaps we should kind of take our foot off the gas here, slow down, and maybe not piss off millions of people with the actions we're about to do right now. But something tells me that the DEC already had made up its mind on what to do little Peanut and Fred the raccoon. What do you say we give a listen to the local news and the statement from the DEC themselves?
The Simone County Department of Health and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation are coordinating to ensure the protection of public health related to the illegal protection of wild animals that have the potential to carry the rabies virus.
You see, a specific line from that DEC quote has me thinking that the poor Peanut and Fred were going to be done the second that they picked up those animals and seized them. That there was never any sort of chance for them to be alive after they had been seized. And it's this sign right here.
The potential to carry the rabies virus.
Now, if this investigation is for rabies, this whole entire investigation on the raccoon and the squirrel is rabies-based. There is only one way to determine if an animal is infected with rabies. Bring on the guillotine. Testing a piece of their brain. And I don't know if you know this about animals, They need 100% of their brains to live. So if this is a rabies investigation, which will lead to the testing of rabies, that means that this entire investigation was always going to lead to the death of Peanut the squirrel and Freddy the raccoon. So now that we've talked about the paragraph, let's talk about hindsight. Shall we? Where are you at, Captain Hindsight? Captain Hindsight. Investigator Crane. Josh. Why was this necessary? What kind of investigation did you and your team do? Honestly, this is a real question. I'm not trying to be some... Who gives a if a guy has a squirrel and has it for 7 years? Obviously, if there is some sort of rabies issue, the squirrel would be dead already, or the whole house would be infected with rabies. But 7 years of domestication would be a red flag that the squirrel is probably fine. By the way, you can take a squirrel or a raccoon or any other animal that could be potentially infected with rabies, and you can put them in a tank and you can watch them for a week and go, oh, they're not showing any of the signs of rabies. We believe that they are okay, and then release them back to the frickin' owners. Or in this case, Mark, who would be the owner of the squirrel, not the owner of the raccoon, but the head of the animal sanctuary, the rehabilitation place for animals. Inspector Crane, where is the due diligence here? Did you not look at the social media account and be like, oh, millions of followers? This could be a PR nightmare. We might want to tread carefully. By the way, we're going to an animal rescue sanctuary. Maybe this person is just ill-informed. By the way, for those of you in law enforcement, yes, we enforce the law. We also assist people in understanding it a little bit better. And from the DEC standpoint, maybe murking a squirrel and a raccoon isn't necessary. That we can just go up to Mark and say, hey, you're doing this wrong. There are some negative consequences potentially down the line. How about you fill out some paperwork to get this animal registered in some sort of way or form or fashion so that you're covered and you're doing it legally by the law. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Let's work together as members of this community. But that didn't happen, did it? I know that raccoons have rabies, all right? But even then, the raccoon was only with Mark for a couple months, rehabilitating. You didn't even give it enough time to make the mistake and try and keep the raccoon as a pet. But the squirrel, why can't we keep squirrels as pets? Oh, I'm not saying that everybody should just go up and grab a wild animal and now it's your freaking kid's plaything. But what's the next step in this? Huh? We're going to start finding people that feed the squirrels at Central Park and just go in there with night vision goggles?
Number 6. Going dog.
Start working squirrels. You're doing some night ops outside of every bakery and freaking restaurant in New York City, waiting for the squirrels to go trash pandaing and then murking them. Inspector Crane, quick! Raccoons are coming out of the trash bin! We're being surrounded! Now Mark said that he was getting an educational animal certificate for Peanut. Now I don't know how far along in the process Mark was, or if he was just saying that because he knew that was an option but didn't get it started yet. But let's just say that he was just getting it started. He just understood it, and then that next day, you come in and take out his squirrel. DEC, you took out the class pet. You literally took out the class pet. What's next? Huh? We're going to just start executing Big Bird on Sesame Street because he might have the bird flu. Is that you? And one of the statements that the DEC put out was that one of the officers, while grabbing at and finding and seizing Peanut the squirrel, was bit by Peanut. And they had to get him tested for rabies because, hey, you don't want to get rabies. And that's why they had to put him down. Well, one of the reasons. Which leads me to ask a question.
So why wouldn't you have protective gloves on and protective equipment to allow an animal like him to bite you?
I would assume you'd be wearing thick gloves in case the squirrel, I don't know, tried to bite you? Or, now hear me out, right? Maybe if we didn't kick in the door and act like an idiot to the owner, we could ask the owner, once again, who's got hundreds of videos of the squirrel just doing exactly what he tells him to do because the squirrel's domesticated, to find the squirrel, get him, put him into a cage so that there is no incident. Oh, I wonder if that happened. I wonder if they asked Mark, could you find your fucking squirrel and put him in a crate for us so we don't have to do something stupid? Did anybody ask that? No? But it doesn't matter because, like I said, the mission from the start was to test the animals for rabies, which means lopping off their head, scooping out a chunk of brain, and putting it underneath the microscope. And of course, the story caught on like freaking wildfire. Everybody's saying justice for Peanut, and Peanut's the reason why Trump's going to get elected. There are tons of people in the comments that are like, who gives a shit about a squirrel? Why is everybody so upset about a squirrel? Because if the government's going to be so potentially stupid and reckless to not do any back investigation on a million-follower animal whose presence is funding an animal rescue that has been interviewed nationally and internationally, if they don't do their due diligence on that and automatically go to your house to kill your pet that you've owned for 7 years, do you think they give a shit about you? Now, one of my state representatives put out a fantastic tweet saying, what the f*** is going on? I need some answers. Hope you get them. And I hope that there's some sort of accountability because this entire thing is so stupid in regards to the DEC and the way the sport was executed that there should be some freaking backlash. There should be people looking into this and going, what were you thinking? Can't wait to see the next warrant signed on for the reclamation of a squirrel. I hope every judge just goes, a squirrel? You're doing a warrant for a squirrel. If you do some stupid peanut again, I'll have the attorney generals go after you. Do you want me to sign it? You know what? I'm not going to sign it. You're going to do some more homework. Then you're going to come back to me on why this is such a big deal that I, a judge in New York State, need to sign a warrant for a squirrel. You're going to go back. You're going to do more work. I don't care what work it is. You're going to do more of it. And then you're going to come back and show me all that work. And then I'll think about signing it.
Get out. Get out.
And as if that isn't enough, allow me to give you 2 additional DEC stories. One of them's going to go to Pepperbox. So if you want to listen to that story, you got to go to Pepperbox and check this out. I'll put a link down there below. Uncensored and additional content. Anywho, 1, there's an older gentleman down in western New York by the Pennsylvania border, and he owns a pawn shop, an antique shop, if you will. He's got a whole bunch of old trinkets, old things. He's got a big lion skin draped over an old chair. Well, he ends up passing away, and his son takes over the shop. And the week that his son takes over the antique shop, boom, it gets raided by the DEC. You know why? Because that lion skin that's been draped over the chair for 50 years, I'm not exaggerating, 50 years, turned out to be real. And because Dad died and didn't dispose of it or some sort of way to transfer it over to his son, he now has basically the same thing as ivory tusks that you're not allowed to have. He gets arrested, put into jail, fined, can't have a pistol permit, has to try and fight to get his pistol permit back. All because his dad at an antique shop had a lion's freaking skin there that the DEC already knew about. But once Dad died and transferred all in the store to his son, the DEC swoops in, arrests the guy, and stuff.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and exclusive access to all things VIP, so you can super fans from yourself. Wow, a week nice shot.
Breaking news! The DEC union put out a letter 2 days ago stating, hey, we're a little upset with this whole squirrel thing. Everybody needs to settle down a little bit. So let's read portions of this letter together and see if it changes our minds or brings light to something new that we didn't know about before. That's what I like about you guys. The first 2 paragraphs kind of gloss over the hate that the DEC's been getting. Bomb threats are not something that you should be doing when you're upset about a squirrel, right? The squirrel being euthanized is an overstep. Making a bomb threat is a massive overstep and overcorrection, overreaction. Just, let's not commit felonies on top of felonies, all right? It also goes on to say that some of the members of the DEC have been getting threats. And now, as much as everybody wants to hold everybody and the appropriate people accountable for things, let's keep this in mind. The head of the DEC may not be aware of every single warrant that's going out throughout New York State, just as the head of the New York State Troopers is not going to be aware of every single warrant going out throughout the state of New York. Now, should the chain of command be held responsible for those below them? Yes. Now, how does being responsible look? Well, time will tell. But now that we learned about some of the overreaction and the things we shouldn't do, nothing wrong with texting your congressmen or representatives, though. Tell them how mad you are. Absolutely do that. Let's get into the investigation parts that, I don't think the public has been aware of yet. While the investigation is ongoing and certain facts cannot yet be disclosed, we can provide the following information. The investigation was initiated in January of this year when several New York State licensed wildlife rehabilitators filed complaints with the agency that Mark Longo was operating an illegal wildlife sanctuary. Following up on these complaints, an environmental conservation officer contacted Mr. Longo, informing him that keeping a squirrel is illegal unless he was a licensed wildlife rehabilitator, with the intent of preparing the animal to re-enter nature. Mr. Longo told investigators that the squirrel had been released to the wild. Okay, so although it's a wildlife sanctuary, it's not a real rehabilitation sanctuary, at least licensed by New York, and other licensed rehabilitation centers for animals were upset. I mean, understandably so. If it costs money and time for you to do the right thing, I would be upset if somebody just started doing some when it took me a whole bunch of a long legal process in order to get it done. Hey, why is that guy getting special treatment? Why did you all get, what is he? At the same time, how much fucking legal paperwork is it to get a rehabilitation place for animals started? This is part of the bureaucracy that people don't like. I want to save some freaking animals. Well, you got to pay this fine, you got to do this thing, and fill out this paperwork. I just thought I needed a barn and food and people willing to help me. No, sir. No. It's not that easy. Of course it isn't that easy. Thanks a lot, New York. Oh, I'm still upset. After the warning was issued, complaints continued to be received by DEC, and DEC management ordered an investigation. A DEC investigator conducted a review of Mr. Longo's social media account, which showed that Longo had lied to the investigator and had not released the squirrel into the wild. In addition to keep the squirrel in violation of the law, Longo had also taken in a raccoon, which appeared in social media postings as well. Mr. Longo's social media posts were the basis for the search warrant issued by a judge. All right. Who gives a about the squirrel? 7 years. I stand by this. 7 years. This animal can't take care of itself. And you're supposed to release it in the wild? You already tried that, allegedly. And come on, Mark. Brother, you think that they're not looking at your social media posts? You think that they're not looking at you saying, if this guy posts another freaking squirrel video with that squirrel he said he got rid of, well, we just can't sit here and do nothing. Media reports portrayed the seizure as being carried out by 10 to 12 agents of the state, making it sound as if it were a tactical raid. In truth, there were 3 uniformed environmental correction officers who were responsible for securing an 80-acre compound, several plainclothes investigators who carried out the search pursuant to the warrant, and 3 DEC wildlife employees who were not police officers. Now, every time a civilian person says, I was raided and there was 30 cops there, it's not like there was 30 SWAT members. Yeah, I get it. There was a bunch of people there, and it's still overwhelming for a person who's just, helping rescue some horses and squirrels. Can we not agree on that? After locating the squirrel, it fit one of the DEC civilian wildlife biologists through 2 pairs of protective gloves. Damn! Homie's got some sharp teeth. Due to the injury, the Chemung County Department of Health was contacted, and the squirrel and raccoon were turned over alive. The Chemung County Department of Health made the determination to humanely euthanize both, as it is the only way to test for rabies, as rabies testing requires taking a sample of brain matter. But we already know that the warrant was for testing. So the squirrel and the raccoon were already dead, man. They were already dead. While squirrels do not typically carry rabies, the cohabitation with the raccoon, a species known to be a vector for rabies, opened the possibility of animal-to-animal transmission, which placed the wildlife biologist in potential danger. This was unfortunate, but the decision was not made by the environmental conservation officers. investigators or DEC wildlife biologists participating in the service of this warrant. Two things can be true at the same time, all right? A guy trying to start a rehabilitation for animals center might be doing it the wrong way. Hey, heart's in the right place, okay? But that gosh dang paperwork just isn't filled out yet. Perhaps an education would be better. Now, if we started this back in January, I'm looking at Mark with a little bit of, come on, bud. Come on, we got to solve the situation. Because the other side of that same coin, right, is that, Mark, you need to be a little bit more responsible with what's going on here. All right? Fill out the correct paperwork. Make sure the squirrel is on the correct path, or at least you've begun it for the squirrel to be an educational animal. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that Mark's inability to do paperwork on time should be the reason why a raid was done for a squirrel. But, Mark, since January, it's 9 months ago, man. I still don't like it. I still think it's freaking stupid. Common sense, to me, says we should make it a fairly easy process to become an animal sanctuary. Yeah, sure. Have the DEC go in there and check up on things every year, every couple months. Whatever you want to make sure it's not some, slaughterhouse that's being used to kill pandas and watch. I still see the legitimate representation of Peanut the Squirrel's demise being a horrible yet perfect example of government overreach, or government preventing people from doing the things they want because of the red tape and paperwork and bureaucracy. This just in, breaking news, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch just made an article saying that Peanut the Squirrel is a classic sign of government overreach. Congratulations, Mark. You, your wife, Peanut, are gonna get justice. You can see the living balls out of everybody that touched that warrant, because it's a Supreme Court justice, the highest court in the United States, just said complete, horrible overreach by the government. You got made in the shade. Peanut Freedom Farm will live on for forever. Well, that's all I have for today. Best way to support the channel. Get yourself a shirt. There's only a couple hoodies left. Grab a hoodie. Those are nice. Get yourself an Acorn shirt. They're still up there. An Acorn one for frickin' Peanut. Is it a coincidence or a conspiracy? Right? The acorns come falling down. The cop goes crazy, starts shooting everywhere. Everybody's afraid of acorns. Who eats acorns? Squirrels. But before I get started, look! Oh, look at that. Brandon Herrera put up another video. It still probably isn't the sketchiest thing you guys have seen me do. Going hot. No! Yeah! Hey, K-Dot! You're gonna die! This tale starts with Brandon Herrera, a battle buddy of mine, you might say, who runs an amazing YouTube channel, which you should all go and follow, even though you idiot. Posted a video today about the handheld firearm, because that's what he does, his firearms, he makes them, even though I haven't seen the end result of the AK-50 yet. Posted a video about the homemade weapon that killed the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
So if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably recognize this thing. It's a makeshift electrically fired pipe gun that was used just a few weeks back in the assassination of Shinzo Abe. But what stole the internet's attention was just how wacky it was. Today, we're going to try our best to recreate it.
My goodness! How educational! How informative! There could be zero way this guy messes up a homemade firearm, considering he makes his own and has it up. Okay.
Now the video starts up swimming, telling people that, hey, it's hard to ban guns everywhere because people can make it on their own. This is how simple it is. But don't do it at home.
This is not a DIY build-it video. In fact, I heavily discourage you from trying to do this yourself. But this is our attempt to try to recreate it and test it for educational purposes.
Practice proper safety measures. What you I mean, you say that, but do you do it?
There's no projectile. We're just shooting a blank right now. It's just powder alone, so shouldn't have any pressures that are too crazy. Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. Nice. That tube got so fucking hot. That was predictable. You idiot. So we have beaten the absolute hell out of this lead sled. It's been through a lot over the years. We've got one more mission left for it, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to fixture this and basically just hose clamp it down to the front of this, what's left of the lead sled, and see what happens. See if, A, this see if this thing fires, see if it, explodes.
No! See if it explodes, Tom! Well, so it seems as though you might anticipate something bad happening. I'm not going to be a safe distance away, making sure that should something bad happen, you'll be completely fine, right? Right?
That looks about good. Probably. Now, because I don't want to be holding the damn thing when it goes off, I'm going to be remotely firing it with these wires, touching the battery when I'm ready to set it off. Now, since we're using a wire like this, we could theoretically make this as long as we wanted to in order to be as safe as possible.
Smart distance, I said that. Safety. All these are good things that you're taking into account.
That's the wire we got. So, yeah, it's not optimal, but it'll chooch.
Let me stop you right there. Chooch. You're telling me in the beginning to be safe. You're telling me that you could be safe and how to be safe during the demonstration. And then you're ignoring all of the things that you just said to do. That's the bold strategy, Con. Let's see how it works out for him.
Let's face it, this still probably isn't the sketchiest thing you guys have seen me do.
I'm willing to bet that you severely underestimate yourself here, Brandon.
Going hot.
Yeah, let's watch it again in slow-mo, folks. There, pause it, right there, there. That is the look of a man who realizes, fuck. And so many words and sentences can be put against this face right here, and that emotion just, fuck. Because I'm pretty sure everything that I just said about this whole event leading up to what it is now, that you were fucking prepared for, just happened right in front of your fine fucking beautiful face. And that 50-gallon jug of water right by you. Oh my God, I'm sure that assisted with the concussive blast. Well, Brandon, welcome to the club. Now we all have TV eyes. You were supposed to be the smart one. You and the chosen one.
What's that? You manage yourself with the gun. Yes, I can.
You're my brother, Anakin. I love you.
I mean, effect on target was incredible.
Oh, and what target was that, Brandon? Your eardrops? Your beautiful full head of hair?
Do you remember when I told you not to fucking do this at home? This is why. So, our powder charge here, I would say, measured in at probably way too fucking much.
Oh, well, that is very scientific. What type of unit of measurement is that, Brandon? Huh? Is it next to a gigabutt, or a fuck ton, or a dick load?
This used to be a piece of thread on that steel pipe. Now it's just completely just fucked.
Yeah, Brandon, good job. You just survived technically an IED explosion, and now you're gonna finger fuck the twisted piece of metal so you can get tendons and slivers in your finger. Good job. Good job. Give this guy a fucking Darwin Award if you don't put this on your goddamn Darwin Awards, Brandon. Integrity check.
I don't know. If you were holding the gun like this, I don't think that would be a very good day for you.
I don't think it'd be a very good day for you if you were hiding behind 50 fucking gallons of water. You think it?
Let's maybe reset and try that again with a little less powder.
Oh, great! Let's go for round 2. How scientific are we going to be with this one? I swear to God, if you don't use a longer wire after learning what just fucking happened, I'm going to choke slam you straight to hell like Kane and The Undertaker. WWE, Tombstone, Coffin, WrestleMania bullshit.
What we're doing now, what we're doing slightly differently, is before we were having to load up powder to get to the flash hole here, which means we were having to use a little bit more powder than maybe we probably should.
Understatement of the whole freaking episode. You think you used a little bit more powder than you should?
So I think what we're going to try here is 4 of the bigger diameter balls mixed in with a bunch of smaller shots. So just fuck it.
Oh yeah, just guess it. Just estimate how much bullshit you're gonna put down this fucking barrel, right? Because that's worked out so far. We've learned from the first mistake, and we're deciding to, do the same fucking thing. God dang it.
Just because I feel like we have to, as a feature of the channel, we're gonna do a White Claw penetration test.
Why is that 50-gallon truck still sitting there? Is he not gonna move it? Is he not gonna learn from what just fucking happened?
POV, you think that touching grass is much dishonorable?
This idiot staying at the same place again! Oh shit! Oh no! Is something fucking wrong happen again? Is that what happened when you just guesstimated this fuck jam black powder and random bits of shit into a fucking pipe bomb?
Astounding. Where is the other barrel?
Yeah, well, you're not the only one, Brandon. You're not the only one astounded at what they're seeing. Great, grand, wonderful. Now it's the missile going backwards. Oh, okay. Did we learn nothing? Did we learn nothing here, Brandon?
It slipped out. Probably should have double checked after that first one kind of, grenaded to see if the hose clamps were still tight. This one shot right out the rear.
Mother of God, you think? You think that maybe securing the explosive would be a good idea, Brandon? Huh?
It doesn't hurt that a lot of the energy went into shooting this rearward and not, fully contained and firing the projectiles outward.
I'm just throwing this out there. I'm no chemist, all right? Well, I'm no scientist like Brandon wheeling and dealing and mixing and matching and creating firearms, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to explosives, you shouldn't just, throw things together and slap it together, or slap it together like a slap round. I wonder if there was a YouTube guy who fucked around with some sort of round that was overpowered and it ended up poorly for him. Oh, God. If only I could remember.
All in all, I don't see any obvious bulging. This actually survived. This did its job.
I'm surprised you actually survived. Good Lord, man. You're giving everybody a heart attack. You're AK Jesus. That doesn't mean that you're going to die and then get resurrected the next day or 3 days.
But it's fair to say it is not quite perfected, that pipe gun. However, with a little dialing in, it's
dialed it. You're lucky you didn't have to dial 911. You should have came out looking like Jason Pierre-Paul and just messed up random fingers gone. This close. You look this close. Well, I'm sure you learned your lesson, even though you ignored all previous information and then ignored what happened just to have it happen again. I'm sure you learned your lesson, Brandon. And just remember, I'm watching you. You know what prevented that flipping pistol from going off if it had a trunnion? Trunnion, Brandon! Trunnion! Trunnion! Hey. This is DNN, Donut News Network. I'm your host, Angry Cops, AC for short. And today's top story is spring break, with so many young, youthful people jumping on down to Florida and having a great time in their bikinis and swim trunks on the beach. Some negatives are bound to follow. And that's why we have our infield correspondent, AC, down in Fort Lauderdale. AC, are you there? Thanks, AC. For what can only be described as a series of unfortunate events, 6 individuals, 4 of which are West Point cadets, have overdosed unintentionally after being exposed to fentanyl. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what fentanyl is, it is narcotic many, many times stronger than heroin, and accidental contact can lead to an overdose. And now to a subject matter expert on drugs in schools. Sir, can you give us your opinion on this story?
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
I couldn't agree more. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Oh, I didn't see you there. You caught me imbibing in my favorite pastime, listening to audiobooks. And my favorite audiobook at the moment is Hell's Horizon. Hell's Horizon throws you into a never-ending war. And convert break. AC, are you there to fill us in? Yeah. Fentanyl was found in their Coke. Amazing. Coca-Cola products laced with fentanyl. We have to get this story out so the people at H-E-B, Food Line, and Piggly Wigglies across the country can be forewarned if there's fentanyl in their Coca-Cola product. No. Fentanyl was found in the cadets' cocaine. Their cocaine was laced with fentanyl, AC. I'm confused. How did they get the cocaine? They bought the cocaine. They're running around having a good time at spring break and decided they're going to do a couple lines on each other's bare asses. And it was laced with fentanyl, or coke was laced with fentanyl. Oh no! A dishonest drug dealer? Oh, tell me more! All 4 cadets were doing cocaine? Well, no, not exactly. Some of them started doing CPR on the ones that, did a line or two, started to fade out while they cross-contaminated themselves with the fentanyl from CPR. Well, try and do the right thing and save their buddy's life. Well, okay. I believe it. So, are you saying that this was a group effort and there are no heroes here? Well, I'm not saying anything, AC. All right. However, I will say, who the fuck is doing lines at 5 p.m.? 5 p.m. I assume that this type of behavior would have been done at night. I know, right? A dance club at 1 in the morning in a bathroom, doing a bump, get back out there, keep dancing, getting the night going. Understandable. I get it. 5 p.m.? What are you, late for brunch? I gotta get all suited up before I try out the charcuterie board and pair it with a nice Merlot. The coke really makes me taste the Zinfandel. AC, do you have any updates on their medical condition? Yes, AC, there is a silver lining. All 6 individuals were stabilized at the hospital, and many have already been released. But let's be honest here. If these cadets want to party hard and do a little sniff of that Elmer's glue and have a wrecking good time down in Florida or on passes, they should probably just go enlisted. All right, if you want to act like an enlistment, then join us and be an enlistment. Frankly, I hope that they stay in West Point, AC. Having these individuals with such good experience would be fantastic assets to a substance abuse program in whatever unit they end up going to later on. Thank you for your fantastic reporting, AC. And for those of you that are still serving, lay off the booger sugar until you retire. And on that note, I'll see you weirdos next time. your host, Angry Cops AC for short. Tonight's top story brings us to the USS Nimitz. With thousands of sailors on board, the Nimitz water supply has been tainted by a small amount of jet fuel. We go to AC in the field. AC, are you there? Yes, AC. I'm here standing outside of the USS Nimitz where a small... You ever get really drunk with your friends and start putting together a hodgepodge, absolutely out of your mind plan is to take over your city or town, your village, or maybe a South American country like Venezuela? Because a couple dudes just in Green Berets decided that the kill course and a couple of deployments overseas was the right amount of expertise to fly into Venezuela on Doug Maduro and fly him back to the United States for a $15 million finder's fee. And it did not work out as well as they had hoped. And we're going to break that down today. Silvercorp, a privately owned security company ran by Justin Goudreau, I think that's how you say his name, was supposed to link up with 300 Venezuelan military defectors who left the military once Maduro retained his power in a questionable election and were hiding out in Colombia. Once joining the previous Venezuelan military forces in Colombia, they would then train for 45 days, and after receiving military weapons and training from ex-Special Forces and Navy SEALs members, they would then infiltrate Venezuela by means of fast boats, overtake the airport, Simon Bolivar Airport, and then continue on to Maduro, where they would extract him, removing him from his security detachment, bring him back to Simon Bolivar International Airport, requesting air assistance, and then being lifted off back into Colombia or the United States. That's how it was supposed to go. We're going to talk about how it actually went down. Jordan Ducro, originally a Canadian citizen, not holding anything against you there, but the owner of Silvercorp and the brainchild of this horrible debauched coup, was an E6 in the United States Army Green Beret. Now, he had multiple tours overseas, but why would you pick an E6 to run a 300-man detachment to overthrow a sitting dictator, political leader, whatever you want to call? Don't you think you want somebody with like field grade experience, like a sergeant major at least, if you're going to go enlisted man or a first sergeant, somebody that's done the coordinating with larger groups and elements before, or at least a fucking major or lieutenant colonel, field grade officers, guys that know how to take the big map and look it around and put down some things and tell guys to move places. No, an E6 with team-level experience. Red flag popping up. Red flag. Organizing a military coup is a little different than running a security detail for Taylor Swift as she exits the Hotel Marriott in Milwaukee. I bet he fluffed the shit out of his resume like veterans do. Oh, well, as a team leader. What? 6-man elements constituting $1.7 million of United States military funding and equipment. Then, you fucking bring in a team, dude. Don't church it up. Guy number 2, Juan Jose Rendon, a questionable politician whose accolades consist of leaving office due to rumors, just rumors, of him accepting bribe money from cartels. Oh, wow, great guy. Oh, there's more? He was also accused of manipulating Mexico's election results in 2012. This is the guy in charge of financing this entire coup. This is bad. I can already feel the amount of integrity plummeting in the beginning stages of this coup. And finally, we have Major General Alcala of the Venezuelan military, who defected after Maduro won re-election in that shady thing that he did. Remember how I said at the beginning that Maduro had that $15 million bounty on him to bring him back to the United States? Well, there was a $10 million one out for the general. And that indictment that he shared with Maduro was for the traffic of 250 metric tons of cocaine being illegally transported in the United States. Well, I don't know how you can legally transport cocaine in the United States, but they transported it there. So Delagat, who by the way is now in custody in the U.S., I don't know who got the $10 million. I want to beat it because he turned himself in. So there's your 3 in charge. Inexperienced E6 Green Beret, who seems to be a little out of his court. Shady politician, dirty general. This is going to go up without a hitch. Phase 1 were the major players. Phase 2 is the training. Originally, 300 men were supposed to join forces with Silver Group and get... There's an issue there. because that number went from 300 to 60. And if you're not good at math, 20% of what you originally thought you were gonna get is what you got. You wanted $100? Here's a 20. Man, in any normal military operation, during the planning phases, there are certain things that you have to meet. And if you don't meet those things, the mission's just done, it's stopped, it's wiped off, you can't complete it, it's done. Don't you think you should have not done the mission when you got under 50% of the dudes you thought were going to help you? And it's so much under 50%. It's 20. It's half. It's less than half of the half that you needed. But we're going to drive through because E6 Green Beret's in charge. And he's got nothing. Now, 300 to 60 is a significant drop in manpower. But hey, these guys are getting trained by Green Berets and SEALs that sneak up behind people, slit their throat, shoot them, catch them in the water like a fucking barrel movie with the SEALs. Got shot and I caught him in the water and lowered him down.
The future of your business is here. With Wix, get advanced AI capabilities. For more customization, more time, and more growth. Speed up your website.
Super secret. Now the training was just as bad, if not worse, than the individuals leading this ridiculous coup. An ex-Navy SEAL who assisted a non-for-profit training individuals in combat zones regarding medical skills and how to fix one another up was there, teaching these 60 dudes, and said that everybody was emaciated. Often men would skip meals throughout the day. That was the norm. And the 5 bombs and dogs they had were just as emaciated as the handlers. All the equipment they were promised didn't come to them during the training phase. The ex-SEAL stated that they were men using cut-off glue stick handles in lieu of weapons for training. We got 20% of the dudes we were supposed to have, and none of the equipment we're supposed to use. So we should keep this going. This is good. We can work through this. And this brings up a different question. What group is this SEAL working for? The state in the middle of Colombia trains the Venezuelans to go do a coup. And he's like, yeah, it's a good idea. This is what my non-for-profit should be about. At least to train them for medical shit, because you know that they're going to get jacked up. Foreshadowing. He knew they were about to do a coup because he went and talked to Jordan and said, hey man, little guy, don't quit it. You should probably cut this off. Don't do it. Cut it off. Cut it off right now. And Duco was like, no, man. I'm a Green Beret. We've got a dirty politician and a coke dealing general. This is a great next opportunity. We're going for it. Phase 1 was who's who. Phase 2 was training. Phase 3, execution. Let's see how this bad boy's about to go down. Now, originally, they're supposed to fast boat in on some high-speed shenanigans with night vision goggles, a whole bunch of equipment, but that got shut down because, you know, drug dealing general and dirty politician, E6 Green Beret that doesn't know his ass from the hole in the ground. That stuff. All of what kind of bad because they were driving beat-up fishermen boats from Colombia into Venezuela to first take over the largest airport in the capital, the Simon Bolivar International Airport. I'm butchering the Spanish name. You couldn't have picked a smaller airport? There's no smaller, like, little runways. You have 60 dudes. You've only got 60 dudes. And you got to take over the airport, hold it. Right? You got to hold it. And then you go get Maduro with his security detail all around him. So that means that dudes out of your 60 are going to be at the airport. So you're going over there with less than 60. And they're ready. He's already had attempts on him. Maduro's probably ready to go for somebody to try and take him out. So what, you're going over there with 40 dudes max, maybe? Do you think that's going to be enough? Because once the shots start going, all it is one phone call, one holy shit, we're being overrun. And beep, boop, beep, you're going to handle a whole shit ton of Venezuelan real military guys surrounding you, and you're done. You're toast. You're gone. No, but I guess across that break, can we talk to it? Is that what you want? Dude, not only did they do it in a shame paddle boat, but they did it in broad daylight with their passports and expired military IDs on them. A broad daylight beach landing with weapons. You didn't even think to do it at night where people 500 fucking meters sure can't see you? You don't even need knots. Just dudes walking around like, pay no mind here, madam. I am going to walk this way to the airport. What makes it so laughable is the 2 Green Berets that used to be in 10 Special Forces groups. They didn't speak Spanish. How are you training these guys to going down there? You don't speak fucking Spanish. We gotta go 500 meters an hour. There's a sniper. Get back there. No comprende, gringo. And speak Spanish. Ah, and speak Spanish. You got caught in the water before you got to hit the beach and start walking towards the gosh dang airport. Venezuelan military was like, hey, we knew you idiots were doing this shit. And you might say, well, how did they know? Don't feel in general, being the genius that he is, couldn't keep his mouth shut and was telling Colombian intel analysts, hey, we're going to do this coup. Hey, I hope you're ready for it. It's going to happen sometime, probably in May. These next door neighbors to one another, and there's probably some pro-Maduro people in Colombia. They went over and spilled the beans to the head of intel in Venezuela, who stated, we knew everything. In fact, we, the Venezuelan government under Maduro, this intel guy, paid for someone to meet us. That's how intertwined Maduro's intel analysts were in this entire coup. In fact, it was so bad, an Associated Press article was put out before the coup. What was going to happen during this coup? You got a couple weeks there, but another small giveaway to this coup was Mr. Dirty Politician got pulled over and his car was like 60, 70 rifles and body armor. And the freaking Venezuelan coppers are like, hey, you're anti-Maduro and you've got all this shit in your car. We're going to take it and we're going to tell people about you. You don't have enough fingers to plug the holes of all the leaks in this shitty shit coup that you're trying to motorboat into Venezuela, guy. And the rest is history. Now Maduro's been saying that the young fishermen helped catch these bad guys and then they called the police, and that's what kicked it all off, because the people of Venezuela are pro-Maduro, which is a bold-faced lie and obviously some pandering in order to get people in Venezuela to think that there's some huge groundswell that still supports Maduro, when in actuality, his intel director and other people in that government stated that, no, we already had infiltrators, we already knew what was going on. We were paying for the meetings that they were going to, and we let it all happen and got them before their feet even touched the ground. Other people are saying that this was orchestrated or funded by the United States government. And let me tell you what, the United States government ain't throwing 60 dudes in some old fishing boats with no night vision goggles and some ill-fitting, dirty t-shirts to go take out Maduro and bring him back to the United States. You had to go by water, didn't you? Had to use those shitty little paddle boats in order to get up onto the shore of Venezuela. You couldn't just go hacking through the brush and that vegetation and the jungles of Venezuela, much like the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 does to the jungle between your legs. If you need to tame the jungle of your boxer brief area, the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 is your doodad to do it. And Manscaped offers tons of fantastic products. Ball cleansers, moisturizers, all sorts of things to make that jungle a little less fungal. Clean up that rough jungle, baby. Beat back those brambles and bushes and let that Valentine vine shine. After your lady sees your mowed down cabbage patch, the only thing she's going to want to overthrow is her legs over your head. So go ahead and use code ANGRY20 to get 20% off your order at manscaped.com today. How did every single one of the people that they captured and put on camera look absolutely disgusting? Not one of them had a uniform on. It was just dirty white tees and flip-flops. That's how we're going to overtake Maduro. It looked like everybody's fat, greasy uncle at a barbecue.
Many people are unaware of suicide risk factors. Knowing these risks can save countless lives. The following are less well-known suicide risks. New or different behavior related to abuse.
If this company is taking advantage of veterans, Why wouldn't you think that they lied and are taking advantage of that?
That sounds an awful lot like communism.
The VFW headquarters out of Washington, D.C. has decided to attack a veteran that, by the way, has been a veteran's advocate and assisted non-for-profits for over the past 10 years. Now, I know him as my good friend Zach, but you might know him as Veteran with a Sign. That's right, a guy filled with positivity who puts up signs and cardboard that says, "Maybe don't forever sleep," has been attacked by the VFW headquarters in Washington, D.C. And after being told by a multitude of comments and responses to their posts, "You're kind of going about this the wrong way. This guy's a stellar member of the veteran community. Why would you attack one of your own?" The VFW chose to double down, talk shit in the comments, call up other veterans in the social media sphere, except for me, they know better, don't you call me, and demand that they stop saying anything mean about the VFW. And even went as far as to directly message Zach and say, "This is all your fault. People are reading the comments because of you." Now, I'm going to break down what exactly happened. What started it? What happened after they made the post that really irritated me? How I think we even got to this point. But before I do, you need to know that I like the VFW. And I'm serious when I say that local VFW posts are great places. Veterans are going there and getting assistance, having camaraderie. I have a video upcoming that is an exceptional story about one of my local VFWs in New York State. But there are a few bad eggs in the VFW headquarters in Washington, D.C. that decided to shit on a pillar in the veteran community and then double down on it. So when you hear me say, "I'm mad at the VFW," or "the VFW posted this," it's the VFW headquarters and the idiots inside of it in Washington, D.C. Are you saying people in Washington, D.C. might have their heads up their ass? Yes, I'm afraid so. Unbelievable as it may sound. All right, let's get down to business. What's so inflammatory? Why is everybody so upset with the VFW? What could they possibly posted? They posted this on Twitter. Let's read it out loud for one another, shall we? In case the Marines have an issue reading. Just in case. "Hey, Zachary E. Bell." That's Veteran with a Sign. "Stop adding to the rumor mill. According to a certain cease and desist letter, the help that ReMedical provides veterans is illegal." We'll just leave this here. And it's a link to what the VFW says is a cease and desist letter. Hashtag don't feed the sharks. Hashtag we got receipts. Now, what does this post mean? What is the shark? The VFW has run an ad campaign where they state that there are private, for-profit businesses that are supposedly assisting veterans in their VA claims. But these for-profit businesses are actually loan sharking these veterans for their VA claims. And I think we can all see that that's pretty bad. Now, not all of these for-profit businesses that assist veterans in getting their VA claims and benefits started or going are bad. But because so many veterans have been taken advantage of by these sharks, the VFW is sponsoring, promoting, putting ads for legislation that limit a veteran's choice and says you cannot go outside veteran service organizations, VSOs, or the VA in order to get assistance with your VA claim.
Hold on, I'm sorry to interject, but this sounds an awful lot like communism. Just a little bit, the VFW is backing a piece of legislation that's going to make it illegal for companies to charge veterans money to help them get through the VA claim filing process. Essentially, they want to get rid of the free market, make it so they're the only ones that are legally allowed to help you because they do it for free because they run off of charity. Which, as far as I'm concerned, is basically communism. If you want to get technical, it's the illegal monopoly, but potato, regardless, it's never a fucking good idea. Here's my source on any history book fucking ever. It is never a good idea to get rid of the free market and disincentivize competition. Now, to be fair, their heart is in the right place because their reasoning is you were a veteran, you served your country, you shouldn't have to pay to get the paperwork done for the bureaucratic nightmare that is the VA. Completely agree. You shouldn't have to pay. However, we don't live in the land of shoulda. And there's absolutely no group of people on the planet that understand that better than veterans. You know what, just as a thought experiment, let's apply this logic to any other situation under the sun, okay? You, if you ever get arrested or get legal trouble, have a right to an attorney, okay? You shouldn't have to pay for an attorney considering that it is a right, correct? correct. That is why if you do not have an attorney, the state will assign one to you for $3.99. Or if you have a bunch of money and you prefer to buy some fancy lawyer, you can also have that option too. Now, imagine if somebody came out with a bill that made it illegal for any lawyer to practice unless they were a public defender that was working on government funds. It would be a fucking disaster. Because now, all the people that would go and buy their own fancy lawyer aren't legally allowed to do that, so they have to go stand in line and wait for the free lawyer. All of a sudden, the free lawyer's quality is going to drop because they're being overworked. In addition to that, the line is going to get way longer. The court system gets backed up. And next thing you know, we don't have jails. We have gulags where there's just thousands and thousands of people waiting for their court dates to come up so they can finally get proven innocent or guilty. And if that's too complicated of an example for you, I will give you the child version. Imagine the Avengers, all the superheroes. Imagine if one superhero decided, you know what, I should be the only superhero. So they went around and killed all the other Avengers so that only they would be the one that solved crime. Problem, they're not able to be everywhere all at once and more crime starts happening. That's basically what's going to happen here. Okay, and here's a counter-argument to that from the VFW. Well, some of these guys might get charged too much money, making it basically a scam. Cool. Then they won't go to that company, and that company will go out of business. The free market will correct it. Okay, it's not the government's job to tell people how to spend their money, okay? I can buy a set of fucking flip-flops for $3.99, or I can spend $5,000 on a pair of collector Jordans. Just because I can buy flip-flops for $3.99 doesn't mean that the $5,000 pair of Nikes are a scam. It means that I'm a grown-ass adult and I'm going to decide how to spend my fucking money on what I want, and the government shouldn't have any input on that. And to be completely fair, does that leave some wiggle room for bad actors to conduct scams? It absolutely does. But guess what? That's the cost of freedom, okay? As much as some people want to say you cannot legislate perfection or utopia. It's not doable. Okay, just because some people say stupid shit that I don't like doesn't mean I'm about to go lobby Congress to abolish the freedom of speech. And if you want another example of why this and communism is fucking stupid, we can go all the way back to September 17th, 1939, when the USSR also invaded Poland because they were still allied with Nazi Germany due to the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact.
Nope. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nick. Like the Beetlejuice, the communist. You say it 3 times, it pops up. Jack himself decided to go with a for-profit business. Pay them a small fee.
Work out and perk out with the Planet Fitness Flag Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Michael's trees I've never seen in my neck of the woods. I am taking you home.
And then get years and years of benefits in like 30 days. Now, once this post was put up, everybody saw it for what it was. If you want to yell at the medical group that's taking advantage of veterans, we'll yell at them. Why would you poke fun at Zach if this company is taking advantage of veterans? Why wouldn't you think that they lied and are taking advantage of Zach? Now, the VFW headquarters says that the company that sponsored a couple posts from Veteran with the Sign is one of these sharks. And they have proof. I mean, if we're attacking this medical group, why isn't there a photo of the medical group on it? It looks like you're attacking him. And, that's the way I do it, and a lot of other people did too. And so people left comments. But hey, it's the VFW headquarters. They're looking at the comments and they're going to make some changes and address these concerns that you have, right? Right? Now, there are other comments of people saying, hey, VFW, this isn't a good look. I responded with, instead of taking a fellow combat vet to the side to discuss this, you throw him under the bus on social media. This cease and desist letter better be a total smoking gun. To which they respond, we were not the first to call out this company as a claim shark, but this fellow combat vet was defending them. Maybe because it was a collaborative post and he's a brand ambassador for them. That's it. It must be because Veteran with the Sign is all about the money. He's a brand ambassador and wants that sweet, cool cash. So he's going to throw all the veterans under the bus so he can get that paycheck. That's what the VFW is saying. Oh, but they say they're not the first ones to call out this company in Zach's post. Zach should know better, right? They're proof of somebody warning Zach that Remedical, this specific company, is a shark and very bad, are random comments in his comment section. Because that's where I go. If I need specific, validating proof that something's bad, the comment section. And what do the comment section say in the 2 photos that they post? Oh, the CSOs and the veteran support organizations and the VFW do it for free. We don't know shit. We know that. This is just an option in case you get screwed over. Well, and the one below that says, well, if it's not free, it's not for me. Suggesting that every paid service is a shark is just a false blanket statement. It's like me going into anybody's comments and saying this guy's a dick. But there's no explanation. Oh, well, we gotta listen, but that's proof. But that's proof to the VFW. That's proof. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh, and isn't it funny that you're not listening to the comments in your post? Quite the opposite. You've been deleting them, haven't you? That's not a sign of guilt, is it? And you're not just deleting your VFW comments. Well, you're deleting some of mine off of your posts. You're deleting some other people that are disagreeing with you from your post. Well, that doesn't seem very transparent. Both of these comments have nothing to do with the specific organization that we're talking about here, that you brought up. In fact, at the bottom line in that comment, somebody says they went the free route and it took them over 10 years to get it. But hey, he does ads for them, so that means that Zach is the bad guy, not the company that's doing the bad shit. Potentially, because we gotta look at that, we gotta look at proof, right? We gotta look at the proof that the VFW gave us, besides the fucking comments. Okay, well, look, what's the next post? Let's look at that. I'm aware of his ambassadorship and your paid promotion with Zero Blog 30. I asked why he wouldn't pull him to the side and give him this information before publicly tearing down a positive representative in the veteran community. Or did you contact Zachary Bell beforehand? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you Exhibit A. Look, it is barren, for there was no attempt to contact Veteran with a sign and inform him that, hey, you know what? This company could be bad. Or, hey, here's this proof that we have that they're bad. And before I go any further, all I'm saying is, if you're going to call out a guy for promoting a trash company, you better have some proof that this company is trash. More than fucking comments about not the company. Am I losing my mind? Oh, and I'm not sure you noticed this, but this response isn't from the VFW headquarters. It's from the Washington office, which, if I'm not mistaken, is run by this gentleman. Everybody welcome Ryan to Lucky. Boo, boo, Ryan, boo. Now, I'm not saying that this is all Ryan's fault, but if there was a figurehead for me to point my finger at, well, you'll see why later on. Ryan, you were calling up a bunch of people after you made this mistake, weren't you? Yeah, you were. If you'll notice, here, where they put a list of sharks of people you should look out for, which is nice, and I appreciate the company that Zach is representing, promoting, right? It ain't on there. So, if it's what you're saying it is, a bad shark, a bad sticky company, why isn't it on the list of the bad sticky companies? Some of these sharks tell a veteran, hey, you sign on the dotted line, we'll give you some help, bibbity bop. But from now and until the end of time, we're going to take 10 or 20 or 30 or 40% of each paycheck that comes to you for your VA disability now until eternity, which is disgusting. And those people should absolutely be investigated and have a book from him. Now, here's my understanding of what Re-Medical does. And in fact, they put out a letter, ta-da, calling out the VFW saying, hey, we don't do bad business practices here. And in a nutshell, Re does this. You call up Re, you say your elbow hurts, and so does your back. And you want to go to the VA, and you want to get your disability rating. And you've been thrown down the line a whole bunch of times, and you're willing to pay for it now. Here's what we're going to give you for that payment. If you're going to claim this, you're going to need A, B, and C. Otherwise, the VA will deny you. So they make sure A, B, and C are done, what you're paying them for. And then when you turn that in, you've got A, B, and C there, and you get your benefits you rightfully deserved. Now let's talk about that proof, right? The VFW says that they've got a cease and desist letter. Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, for those of you that don't know legal jargon, a cease and desist letter sounds like somebody's doing something bad and wrong. It's just a letter to say, hey, could you please fucking stop? Just somebody officially letting you know that they don't like what's going on. Now, here's where the VFW steps in shit. Because although there are words like cease and desist in this letter that they linked to on the original post, and it's not a cease and desist letter. The VA didn't write Re-Medical saying, you need to stop your practice of such and such. This is a letter of inquiry. What's a letter of inquiry, see? I'm glad you asked. Letter of inquiry like this is the VA sending a letter to Re-Medical stating, hey, got a complaint. We got somebody that's suspicious of your activities here, and we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. You cannot do this, and this. If you are, you need to stop because it violates this, and this law. We want you to respond to this letter in 30 days with what you're doing to make sure that you're not in violation of these laws. And that was sent out January 4th. Hey, if the VA is sharing letters of inquiry and other internal documents with the VFW, you would think that there would be a follow-up, because it's been more than 30 days, saying, hey, you're not doing this right, we're doing it soon, and we're blah, 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 blah. But we don't have that. We've got a letter that says, hey, if you're breaking the law, that's a problem. So you need to respond to us to show you're not breaking the law. If nothing else follows that, I would assume that nobody was breaking the law. So what the VFW has shown, without contacting that, out of the blue.
This is what the perfect gift for a man looks like. So my wife got me this weird new kitchen knife as a Christmas gift. God,
Claiming that he's a dirty grifter promoting a shady company that takes advantage of this. Is a bunch of comments from a comment section that don't directly talk about the company, and a letter of inquiry that they mislabeled as a cease and desist letter. And all that letter says is, if you're breaking the law, you can't. Get back to us so we can make sure that that's not happening. Now here's where the shenanigans start getting a little interesting. Now once people started, you ever get really drunk with your friends and start putting together pies, totally out of your life. We've all gotten a little too excited and carried away on Prime Day when we ordered so much crap that we get inundated with Amazon packages for the next 2 weeks, having no idea what we ordered. But this is different than that, because although you ordered that thing that you forgot what it was, United States military members are getting smartwatches in the mail and having no memory of ordering them because they didn't order them. These spywatches were sent to these military members with the intent of spying on them, retrieving personal data, locations, and connecting to everything within Bluetooth distance, including friends, family, and workers, sending it to that foreign government. One thing you should be spying on is the quality of the food you're eating, which is why you should use Factor 75 for your meal prep. When you hear meal prep, you think bodybuilder, some sort of fitness competitor, but no, it's front portions of supper well. Throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes and you're challenged 50% off of your first order. Oh, how did they know? It's gonna be in the description and the pinned comment. I'm also gonna put a code for your first box for free on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So first come, first serve for that one. Army CID, the Army's Criminal Investigation Division, kind of like SVU, bum, 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 bum. Wow! Has had enough of these instances that they've had to send out warnings to military members saying, look out for these smart spy watches. Don't even turn them on. The watches come programmed with data-stealing malicious software. So the second you turn one of these phones on, whoop, there goes your news, linked to some data farm in North Korea. Kim Jong-un is going to turn you into a bad guy. Why aren't more people eating carrots? So you better watch what you're doing. These watches, once turned on to start seeking out Wi-Fi, automatically connecting to phones without prompt,
which is obviously a counterintelligence and cybersecurity threat to troops. Bad juju from these smartwatches, because these foreign agencies are watching you. Can you imagine the amount of information? I mean, pertinent information, yeah, sure. I'm talking about, like, blackmail information. This is how you create spies. Oh, hey, we get all this bullshit that shows you're a shitty person. You could potentially lose your security clearance unless you give me them their documents for China. And all this just because one time you took a photo of yourself running around naked in your bedroom with a dog mask on and a cucumber up your ass. It was supposed to be a joke. But now the Koreans got it. So you better watch out. Could you imagine the amount of blackmail a foreign entity could get on you or anybody in your office if you brought the smartwatch in? Could you imagine if they got the right person? If you need somebody to play this out for you, just watch this. Watch!
I ever wonder what the pioneers did about contaminated water? Silver coin. What about algae from the lake? Silver coin. What about back here?
Private Potato? Yes, sir. Outstanding. Colonel Kennel, Army CID. Listen, Private, thank you so much for alerting us on that smartwatch that you received in the mail. It has definitely been confirmed to be tracking and sending out your personal data.
Oh, my.
All right, don't fret, all right, but we do need to keep you here for a minute. Kind of verify whether or not some of the data that it sent out is yours or someone else's. So I'm going to go down a bunch of the things that it's tracked you on your daily activity, and just let me know if it's someone else's. All right? All right, we'll make this quick. We have here 572 times Siri was asked what sex feels like. Nice to remain pure. Okay. The smartwatch has accessed an app called Poop Tracker. Can you confirm that you've had 637 poops this year? I eat a lot of fiber. Information from a fitness app says that you ran a half marathon 3 days ago, but your GPS says that you remained in your barracks room. Can you explain that? I was just running in place, sir. There were a number of photos uploaded. Could you verify if these photos are of you and if they are of you in that location? Yes. Yes. That was at the fire festival. Oh, I think that was Milwaukee. Yes. That's why I can't watch Hootie and the Blowfish Live anymore. Yes. Yes, but the food was good. We also have a couple passwords that were shared, along with different social media and entertainment accounts. Just let me know if these are your usernames or passwords, if they make sense to you. Sexy Space Hero with money sign or the F. Yes. Space Poon, number 4, life. Yes. Alien Cheek Clapper. Oh, yes. Later Vader with 2 8s in there. Handsome Humanoid. Yeah. And Space Ranger 42069. Yes. Those are all me. I see here that you Googled OnlyFans 3,423 times, but we couldn't find an account for you. How? Too scared to commit. Okay. Have you used these GIFs or GIFs, whatever you kids are calling them, in text messages with other people? I can explain that. I'm just going to state a whole bunch of Google searches for you. Let me know if it's somebody else. Demon Slayer body pillow. Animal birthing lubricant. Yep. Nintendo 64 007 GoldenEye mint condition. Why do my feet smell? And finally, there were a lot of contacts that were uploaded via this smartwatch. A lot of them seem to be fairly similar. Just let me know who these people are. All right. We have Colorado girlfriend, basic training girlfriend, not real. Anime Expo girlfriend, not real. Disneyland girlfriend, fake. Disney World girlfriend, fake again. LA Comic Con girlfriend, not real. PAX West girlfriend, not real. All right. Did we learn about cybersecurity today in a way that we can understand it? Maybe we don't just pick up thumb drives on the ground or a CD and throw it into a computer. Yeah, that's obvious. But maybe the Amazon package that you didn't get that's got fucking hieroglyphic writings on it. I don't know what it's called. Maybe you shouldn't just turn on the cool smart device that you got from there so you can poke up all of your information. If you want to support the channel, I got new shirts. Blue Falcon. Ain't no snitching. In reference to the video I made a couple weeks ago where a Marine is given an award under some dubious circumstances. I've also got some sweet Whoopi hoodies with my Caffeine and Hate logo on there. I know, it's summer. I ordered them in like December and they just came in. So there's a limited number of those. Those will be one and done. All right. Check out the sponsor. Sign up, get your free food. Don't be fat. See you next time, weirdos. Black Hole Driller, Captain Space Monkey, Comet your boy, Ass Droids. Ass/droids. Astrologist, Black Hole Diver. I look like an old-timey boxer with this mustache. My girl started just a tickling, but that can only mean one thing. The Space Force put out a video that's really screaming. No. They don't want to shave it off. Yeah. They can't give the thing get rigged. If it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me. But these are BDUs. You know, there were dudes rocking sets like this in the early 80s. Never seen a comment section full of so much of my gosh dang life. Truth are what you do, Space Force, basic training, Space Force, basic training, hey, you're just have a goddamn heat stroke. Tell me, look at Space Force basic training. So I'm gonna do it, but because I want you, not because you said it. Let's kick this bad boy off.
First of all, thanks for volunteering to defend our nation, and congratulations on being the first Americans to enlist directly in the United States Space Force.
My God, look at them. So young, so small, so inexperienced, so dumb. God, they didn't know how to stand a parade, rap, or attention yet. Did what they want to do. So brand spanking new, they're gonna have tape put on the ground so they know where to stand. While a goddamn general's talking to them. Sergeant Major, or whatever the fuck Air Force rank you, Senior Master Sergeant gunnery fucking stuff. So many fucking chevrons and rockers on their arms. You'd think that they were some sort of weird galactic space army. Oh, wait! Space Force. Yeah, you already irritated them already. They're like the newer, more annoying Air Force.
Okay, like a go. Yeah, ready? Guys, we're racing. Get over it! Captain!
That's the Space Force drill instructor! It's not even an Air Force TI. Where's your fucking cover? Can't you catch him with the fucking reset?
Captain!
I don't give a shit if it's their first fucking day and it's a baby obstacle course. Where is the intensity there, drill?
Get over it!
I don't know why she's giggling. I must have missed a joke because everything funny is her fucking catch him. I'm doing the training.
Get over it! Captain!
How are they going to take it seriously if you can't take it seriously? He gets it. Oh, it's pisses me off so fucking much.
Well, there!
What do they say? Roar, I'm a bear. Oh, okay. I get it. The drill sergeants, if we want to call them that, decided to make a teaching point and say, hey, little weirdos, you were going to crawl like a bear once you get to this part of the obstacle. And to make sure you do it, you were going to sound off with roar, I'm a bear. With a little bit of intensity. That way I know the guys, they're doing it the proper way. And motivate themselves a little bit. But you know what they decided to do? They decided to take it as a fucking joke. Just like you, laughing T.I. Catch him. Does the bear shit in the woods? No, he's shitting all over Space Force basic training. Well, pardon me, take your time. Nice and easy, over the lawn, all right? And he's my faceless fool on that speed, safety first. Even the cameraman is so fucking bored at this. He's staring into his camera, wishing it was a barrel of fucking M16 so he could suck that thing, knowing full well that the aliens, whenever come and attack us, are gonna face fuck these little dummies with 15 weird, different
Plain good, you know, potato, potato.
Potato, potato, you look like a fucking potato. Potato. I am Private Potato.
Potato, potato.
What universe is this kid from? Texas Laboratory? It's called accountability, and yeah, it's a fucking big deal there. Guardian, I forgot to use the term guardian for their fucking kids. Right, we got soldiers, Marines are Marines, airmen are airmen, Navy's a bunch of seamen, and Space Force are guardians. That's kind of fucking cool. This guy ain't guarded shit but his butthole from an alien prison.
Potato, potato.
This training is so lame, even the video's boring. Who edited this video? You added some quick cuts, some star glaze over, a little bit of music.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and ad-free videos on the YouTube Kids.
Lame, but a lot less lame. I know they're wearing those gloves because of COVID and such, but it makes me giggle thinking that they're trying to prep for their next moonwalk when they're in their spacesuits with those big thick gloves on, shaking hands with an alien. Meet more meat, nice to meet you, alien guy here. Meet more meat, nice to meet you, alien sir. I am Guardian Second Class, Private Potato.
Potato, potato.
Yeah, we thought we were going to come and fuck up your planet once, and now we're just going to take it over and enslave the entire human race. But potato, well, I'm going to have to do some combats with you so that I don't get your weird alien wheels in my face. Potato, potato.
Potato, potato.
Or maybe they're wearing them because they burnt their fingerprints off. Super secret. Space Force. And where the fuck is their drill instructor or TI? I don't know the fuck the Air Force is. They're so useless to me right now. They got me so fucking pissed off with this stupid shit. They're just standing around there doing nothing. Pull your fucking little smart books and read your warrior ethos or Space Force values or some shit and get a little bit more brainy up there. Elon Musk, save us. Oh, right there, one private get to crisscross his mask over his ear so he's fucking special, huh? How about you not be an individual, God? You're not catching this shit. Once again, where the fuck is their drill instructor over here? When you're going across the rope and you're pulling yourself forward, you gotta let one leg hook the back of the rope and the other leg dangles down like a massive dog. And acts as a counterweight for those of you that know what I'm talking about. But then again, they're gonna be in zero gravity, so what the fuck is the point of this? You think you're doing like moonwalks? Shit. Zero gravity. What the fuck are they gonna be crawling on a road for? They're gonna be floating in the goddamn space. I always gotta be looking at this shit, wondering what the hell we're doing. Meatmore, what the fuck are these guys doing? I thought they were supposed to be smart. They're about to send some people to Mars for Christ's sake. Meatmore, I don't fucking know. We taught how to do time travel, but Elon Musk isn't sharing it with the rest of these idiots, and now I'm starting to see why. Oh, my antenna, I can't breathe. Meatmore, Jerry, no!
Let's go. Let's go. Go, Space Force.
Yeah, there it is. There's that seal that knows how to train people. Did you hear that? Let me play that again for you.
Let's go. Go, Space Force.
Oh, it needed to be said. Way to go, Space Force. Oh, a good drill sergeant in NCO can take any complimentary word and turn it into a big fuck you. Way to go, warrior. Jesus Christ, how many times you gotta miss the target down range there, hardcore? Come over here, high speed. Where's your water source, soldier? Woo! Look at this killer over here, drill got a thing taping you his army on the wrong side of his chest. Even good job to be turned to an insult. Good job. Sarcasm. A drill sergeant's sharpest tool. Hey there, Space Force, how about you drop that booty down low? All right, get your freaking head down too. It's so low brow. Right, drop that thing like Kim Kardashian on a new basketball player.
Potato, potato.
I'm their defense for everybody saying, oh, he's just crawling around and going over a wall. Some of these freaking obstacle courses, although looking lame or fucking tiresome, if you have somebody pushing you through it, you do one obstacle course as fast as you can twice. Run it through twice. You will be fucking dogged. That's why I make him do it 3 or 4 times. Mr. Training.
Trying to scare the terrorists by smiling.
That's all you got, but they fucking smile at you.
Trying to scare the terrorists by smiling.
How about this instead? How about you tuck those fucking teeth back behind your lips? Don't you want to be your teeth to be private? You know, that is a sign of affection or aggression. And if you're trying to fuck me, that means you're trying to fight me. And I'll take you fucking down. I'll bury those teeth in the back of your throat like a bunch of chicklets that you swallowed at the back of an MRE.
unit Zappa, just in case one of our moon bases gets overrun. Oh no, the aliens are here. 3 to 5 second rushes. I'm up. Oh shit, I'm floating. I'm shot.
Alright. Well, we'll leave all this to figure itself out, right?
Look at how empty that classroom is. Well, they're really beating down the doors to join the fucking Space Force, aren't they? Senior Guardian Airman, what's its fuck? Hey, come here, Private Potato. What'd you teach me when you learned at Space Force basic training? Private Potato reporting, drill sergeant. I am Private Potato. Some of the number one things that we learned in Space Force basic training is that small things can accumulate to large problems later on down the road. Potato, potato. Potato, potato. And one of those issues that leads to bigger problems are contamination. That's why you need to make sure that you and your workspace are clean, which is why we suggest that you go to manscaped.com for the perfect package and make sure that your front downstairs alien arm doesn't look like it just came out of some crater pitch. It comes with the Lawnmower 3.0, body cleanses and toners for your balls and make you smell your nubby cup. I can't be shitting glasses. Before beep, hello sir, yeah. I also beep for beep your language. Foreign agencies have sent United States military members smartwatches so that they can spy on them. Why do I feel like China's involved in this?
China, you take China.
I know we've all gotten a little too excited and carried away on Prime Day when we ordered so much crap that we get inundated with Amazon packages for the next 2 weeks, having no idea what we ordered. But this is different than that, because although you ordered that thing that you forgot what it was, United States military members are getting smart. Baby torturer and murderer Thomas is the commander of Post 12226. Maybe this is why a lot of people thought putting a VFW post in prison was a bad idea. In October of 2023, almost a year ago, special VFW post was opened. The Platte River VFW post 12226. Boy, over 12,000 posts. Good job, VFW. Now, post 12226 in Sterling, Colorado, was this VFW post. Oh, it's not like any other VFW post, because it's out of the Sterling Correctional Facility in Colorado. That's right. The VFW is hurting members so bad that they're going to prison in order to try and recruit veterans, not talking about the guards, talking about the criminals, to join their ranks, to join our ranks. Not a part of the VFW right now. And this would sway me away from that. Now, right off the rip, the post started a little bit of controversy, all right? Rightfully so, I would think, right? And I'd have to say it's probably not hard to be involved in a little bit of controversy when the people in the VFW post in prison are convicted murderers. And, but before we get into who's in it and their charges, a word from the video sponsor. We all have bad habits. Mine is yelling at strangers on the internet, but don't let your bad habits control your life. What if I told you there's a more enjoyable way to kickstart your life? It's Stephen from Mount FUM. Let's meet the founder of the VFW Post 12226 and the Sterling Correctional Facility. Well, it's State Commander Carol Thomas. Now, Carol here has got a long history. 37 years she served in the Navy. That is very respectable. She also happens to be a captain in the Colorado Correctional Facility. And one day she looked around at all these felons and said, you know what would give you guys something fun to do while you're killing time? Killing. I get it, because that's what you're here for. It would be to be in a VFW post. Start it up. That way the VFW here in Colorado can collect dues from you and, get our pockets kind of fat. And now I say that because, well, I'm not just some sort of cynical asshole on the internet who likes to call out bullshit. Because if your heart was in the right place, you wanted to assist veterans in getting out and reconnecting with society, some sort of rehabilitation so that when they're out, they get a job or they can work in the VFW. Well, all that sounds great, and I would support it. But a large number of the people that are running the VFW in prison are in for life. So what's the point? We're giving the crims fun time now? Is that what this is? They're not in prison to, pay for the injustice that they did?
taking the lives out of people, touching kids and such. No, we've got to give them more fun time there, Captain. I mean, State Commander Carol of the VFW. But she wasn't alone. There were other people in Colorado VFW programs that thought that this would be a good idea, like previous VFW Department of Colorado Commander John Keene, who presided over the institution of VFW Post 12226. And just so we're not confused here, let me quote Keene. Our motto is "No one does more for veterans." Keene said, "There are no qualifiers in that. It just says that. In my mind, a veteran is a veteran. Unless he's keeping your child, Keene, then that guy who's your kid, well, then I would say that you get to lose a little bit of that veteran status. His DD-214 might say honorable, but his actions would say otherwise. What kind of brotherhood or sisterhood is the VFW when your brothers and sisters are out there stabbing, killing, and there are no qualifiers in that? Let me tell you something. There should absolutely be a qualifier, Keene, you big, beautiful, large-hearted, but somewhat retarded guy. If you're out there grabbing kids, children, little children, like 10 off the street, and then, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be a part of the VFW. By the way, there are VFWs out there where if their commanders get a little too drunk at the bar, they're like, "Hey, listen, you've got a problem. We need you to step down." Oh, but not this VFW. No, it's almost like a point of pride to say, how many teardrop tattoos you got tattooed on your cheek, and how many bodies you've been poking in the frickin' quad. No, the VFW article says, VFW Post 12226 offers members a chance to give back to their communities through outreach and fundraising. I don't know how much money they're fundraising. We get extra bags of Cheetos from the commissary and giving them to kids. Well, God, keep them away from kids. Keep them away from the kids. And what community are they outreaching to? They're literally locked up. Their community is a community of felons, murderers. What are we doing here? All of that brings us here. Okay. We've got the Colorado Corrections Captain, also a commander in the Colorado VFW, creating a VFW post in a prison, which isn't really going to help rehabilitate anybody because most of these guys are in for life. Following that, the then commander of all Colorado VFWs, Mr. King, is like, this is a great idea. Just because you're in prison doesn't stop your veteran status, which I might disagree with. And now we're going to talk about the people that are inside VFW Post 12226 at the Sterling Correctional Facility in Colorado. Oh my gosh. I hope you're ready to write some angry letters to your congressman. Let's hear from Chuck Garlick real quick. He's a member in the Post. What does Chuck have to say? It would be nice if we could do something to make a change, not just for veterans who are incarcerated, but for veterans as a whole. There's a clear connection between PTSD, substance abuse, and criminal behavior in a lot of cases. It would be great to be able to shed some light on that. PTSD, is that what got you here, Chuck? Well, let's figure out what got Charles down here in incarceration land. Charles Garlick killed a 48-year-old man in 2009 by shooting him in an alley with an AR-15. Don't know why that happened, but I will say this. Of all the people in here, Mr. Garlick is the only one I think that should be allowed to participate in the VFW. Why? I'll explain. Because he admitted that he killed the guy. Oh, he admitted that he was sorry. Oh, he told the police that he made a mistake. He owned up to it. Integrity. Now, I know he killed a guy. Not a good look. But if somebody's willing to take the next step into fixing themselves, I don't think he's going to get out anytime soon. But that person, Mr. Garlick, could be a turd we can polish. Okay. I mean, if there's somebody that's in for 6 years because he sold some dope, or a person that was doing, burglaries or robberies because they had a friggin' drug habit, I could understand. Let's rehabilitate those people. There's ways we can save them. But unfortunately, Mr. Garlick is, well, I'll just say, the nicest guy in Post 12226. Let's move on. Well, we've met one of the members. Let's start at the top and work our way down. Post Commander Thomas Stewart. Hey, fellas, what are you in here for? Well, Thomas here was arguing with an 18-month-old because, I don't know, they didn't want to eat their snacks or go to bed. And he was like, all right, you know what I should do instead? I'm going to take this 18-month-old's face and I'm going to slam it into the tile floor. Wow, great guy. And then, well, he says the 18-month-old then fell down 9 carpeted stairs. And after calling an ambulance and having the child taken to the hospital, unfortunately, the 18-month-old passed away. But that's not the end of the story. You see, the child didn't fall down. No, Thomas, this is what Thomas did. Thomas took his girlfriend's 18-month-old kid and smashed its face into the tile floor, bruising the side of its face and its forehead, showing multiple times. Thomas took an 18-year-old soft, subtle face and smashed it in the tile flooring, enough to really bruise, dent the kid's head. Oh, but that's not all. You see, while at the hospital, the child was found to have bleeding in the retina, a blood clot in the brain.
Amazon early holiday deals. With everything you...
Oh, geez, we're falling downstairs. And torn brain tissue. So in layman's terms, Thomas here, once again, took an 18-month-old child, which was not his girlfriend, smashed his head into the freaking pavement a couple of times in the home, and then shook the baby so hard that it tore brain tissue in the kid. Now, on top of that, there was also scalding marks found on the child, while Thomas said, oh yeah, I splashed hot water on the baby's butt. That was it, you know, and I took care of it. Well, doctors would say, no, this baby was intentionally put in boiling, scalding hot water. So, baby torturer and murderer Thomas is the commander of Post 12226 in prison. Good job, BFW. But we're just starting at the top here. Let's go down to our junior vice commander, Richard Moreau. Oh, yeah, he's not creepy looking. Well, what did Richard do? Well, he walked into a bar and shot 4 people, one of which was the doctor that was trying to help the people that were shot, the other 3. And he just, executed them. And never apologized for it. Dead. He blames all the people that were in there. And when people went to go get a psychological evaluation on him in the middle of court and stuff like that, they said, no, he's okay. He might be blaming all this on PTSD, but no, he's just a horrible narcissist. And the judge even said, you have zero regret in doing any of this. That's right. The judge, against Richard's trial, looked at him and said, you are an unapologetic, manipulative piece of you belong in prison. One of the witnesses to Richard's shooting said that while he was reloading, he was smiling, loving every minute of it. And transport personnel, when moving Richard back and forth for different arraignments and hearings, said that while in transit and passing the sandbar, which is the bar that he killed that guy in and shot several others in, Richard said, hey, how about we all get a drink at the sandbar? And made some other, I would say, off-color remarks, joking about how he shot and killed people in the sandbar. Wow, no integrity, a narcissist murderer who is not apologetic for the people that he killed. We'll make him vice junior commander. Good job, BFW. Let's meet another member. Ryan Kruger. Hey there, Ryan. How are you? What's Ryan in here for? Well, Ryan was selling drugs at a local college, and a young lady, about 19 years old, was buying some weed and ecstasy from him so she could sell it to her friends and party a little hardy there in college. And, well, it's not something you should do, young lady. And Ryan here, well, he got a little paranoid one day and saw that the 19-year-old female was snitching on him, talking to the police. So what did he do? Well, Ryan here brought himself and a couple of buddies to grab this 19-year-old female and murder her for the potential that she might be a snitch. Awesome. A drug-dealing murderer. A 19-year-old girl. Wow. Just starting her life out, even though she was, selling a little bit of MDMA to her friends in college. We should definitely kill her, right, Ryan? He should be in the VFW. I can understand. He just got upset that he was about to get his business all torn down. That's why he killed a 19-year-old college student. Good job, VFW. Let's meet Post-Service Officer Brandon Allen. Come on, everybody, Post-Service Officer. What did Brandon do? Well, Brandon here made a little bit of a whoopsie by breaking into a Colorado school teacher's home and robbed her for 3 hours. He tied her up, beat her, suffocated her with a pillow numerous times, repeated murder and told her he was gonna kill her for over 3 hours. Burglary, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, torture. Oh, this guy should definitely get a second chance. Good job, BMW. Oh, and I've saved the best for last. Everybody welcome the post-quartermaster, Timothy Albert. Yeah, wow. Ugh. Well, back in 1982, he served a limited time for a child. Oh, well, that was back in 1982. Oh, but somebody did it again in 1989. Yeah, 1989. Decided to another kid. Got caught for that. But Timothy Albert here is a changed man. Just because he was a child in 1982 and got arrested for it, and then another child in 1989 and got arrested for it, doesn't mean he's a bad person, even though his most current charges are because he and his brother had mounds and mounds of child and children's underwear all throughout his house. Twice convicted child and children's underwear in his house. Wow. These are some stellar people. Good job, BMW. Good job. And here we are, thanking the VFW for its brilliant idea to allow a child abuser and murderer, a psychopathic murderer with zero conscience, a guy who likes to break into houses, torture women, great, and a kid, and then got caught with a photo and child kids underwear. Wow. So there you have it. The VFW wants all these guys and their charges in the VFW. These are paying dues members, whatever the frig you want to call them. If I happen to be a post commander of a VFW somewhere, I think I would raise hell and say, these sycophants don't represent me, and we don't want them in our brotherhood anywhere near our pits. You know what I think I'll do? I think I'll leave a link so that you can write a quick little email to the VFW and let them know how you feel about this. I'll also put a bunch of links down below so you can read each of these guys' stories and maybe send it to the VFW while you're writing that little nasty email to them, telling them, is this really what you